All right, let's dive right into this explainer, where we're putting the two biggest heavyweights in the construction world into the ring for a definitive matchup. You know, if you've ever looked up at a towering skyscraper, driven across a massive bridge, or even just checked out the foundation of a local house, you are looking at a literal battleground of materials. Today, we're settling the score once and for all between ordinary Portland cement and Portland Pozzolana cement to see which one truly deserves to be the foundation of our modern world.
But hey, before we get bogged down in all the technical specs, there's a pretty massive question we really need to ask ourselves. Is the world's most popular building material actually the best one for the job? For decades, builders and engineers all across the globe have sworn by the old reliable standard, ordinary Portland cement. I mean, it's the default, right? The go-to. But is it truly the best fit for every single building need out there? Or are we just kind of stuck in our ways, addicted to what's familiar? Let's find out.
Here is the tale of the tape for today's matchup. 1. The cement heavyweight clash. 2. The secret ingredient, fly ash. 3. The science of strength. 4. Round 1, speed versus endurance. 5. Round 2, durability and environment. And finally, 6. The final verdict.
Section 1. The cement heavyweight clash. Introducing the contenders.
Okay, so in the first corner, we have OPC, Ordinary Portland Cement. This is our reigning champion. It's the standard material you get by burning limestone and clay-based materials at absolutely extreme temperatures to form clinker. And it's graded purely by raw, early compressive strength. You'll usually see it listed as 33, 43, and 53 grade, which just indicates its strength in megapascals at 28 days. Now, in the opposing corner, we have PPC, Portland Pozzolana Cement. This is the engineered challenger. It's a modern, highly refined hybrid that was specifically designed to tackle some of the fundamental, microscopic weaknesses of traditional OPC.
Moving on to Section 2, the secret ingredient, fly ash.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the secret weapon that gives our challenger PPC its totally unique properties. It's called pozzolanic material, and most commonly today, that means fly ash. But here's the crazy part. Fly ash isn't mined from the ground. Actually, it's an industrial waste byproduct. It's collected directly from the electrostatic precipitators of coal-burning thermal power stations. So instead of just letting this fine ash pollute the sky and the environment, visionary engineers figured out a way to harness it for construction.
To put the scale of this innovation into perspective, modern PPC replaces 15 to 35% of that costly high-carbon clinker with this recycled fly ash. That doesn't just make the cement cheaper to produce, it makes it remarkably greener. You're literally taking an industrial waste product, saving it from a landfill, and locking it safely inside a building structure. Plus, because fly ash is finer and lighter, a standard 50-kilogram bag of PPC actually gives you more physical volume of mortar than the exact same weight in a bag of OPC. How cool is that?
Section 3. The Science of Strength. Pozzolanic Alchemy.
So what exactly is pozzolanic action? Basically, it's a chemical reaction where pozzolana and moisture convert useless calcium hydroxide into highly cementitious compounds. To put it simply, it's a bit of scientific alchemy. It takes a negative, vulnerable byproduct of standard cement curing and magically turns it into a positive, structural glue.
Let's zoom in and look at what's happening on a microscopic level. Step 1. When OPC hydrates, it naturally produces a massive amount of calcium hydroxide. Now, this is a useless, highly soluble mass that adds zero strength. In fact, it can actually leach out of the concrete over time, leaving microscopic voids behind. Not great. But step 2, in PPC, the fly ash acts like a heat-seeking missile. It actively seeks out and reacts with that exact byproduct. Step 3, over time, the mixture transforms that useless calcium hydroxide into a dense, strong calcium silicate hydrate, or CSH, gel. So while OPC basically exhausts itself creating a useless waste product, PPC literally eats that waste to build even more strength. It's just an incredibly efficient chemical cycle.
All right, Section 4. Round 1. Speed versus endurance.
I think we can best understand this physical matchup by picturing a track meet, a sprinter versus a marathon runner. OPC is for sure the sprinter. It races to a really high early strength within the first few days. And hey, that's fantastic if a contractor wants to strip the formwork off a column as quickly as possible. But sprinting makes you sweat, right? OPC generates massive heat of hydration, which can lead to rapid thermal shrinkage and tiny microcracks inside the concrete itself. PPC, on the other hand, is our marathoner. It's got a slower initial start. It definitely doesn't gain early strength as fast as OPC. But because of that sustained pozzolanic action we just talked about, it continues to cure. And ultimately, it matches and often surpasses OPC in long-term endurance, all while generating way lower heat.
You know the old saying, once bitten, twice shy? Well, we really have to address the elephant in the room here. A lot of veteran builders still carry a pretty irrational bias against PPC. And why is that? Well, back in the late 1970s and early 1980s, during some desperate cement shortages, manufacturers rushed out inferior, poorly calcined clays to mix into their cement. The results were, well, less than stellar, to put it mildly. And that bad memory has stubbornly stuck around in the industry. But it's absolutely crucial to know that modern PPC, especially from plants using high-grade thermal fly ash, is a highly refined, strictly regulated powerhouse. It leaves those old 1980s problems completely in the dust.
Next up, Section 5, Round 2, Durability and Environment. So, why does all this matter to you and me? The immense long-term benefits of PPC come from the fact that it converts that soluble calcium hydroxide into a dense, insoluble gel, which radically reduces the permeability of the concrete. Think about it. Lower permeability means water, chlorides, and aggressive chemicals simply cannot penetrate the surface. It means the protective layer around your steel rebar stays perfectly intact, which prevents rust. It means fewer microcracks because of the lower heat of hydration. Honestly, if you're building a dam, a marine structure exposed to seawater, or a sewer line facing severe sulfate attacks, PPC is specifically engineered to survive harsh environments that would literally eat standard OPC alive over the decades.
But despite all that, historically, there's been a massive trend favoring OPC. Look at India during the late 90s, for example. OPC dominated the market at a staggering 70%, with PPC sitting way back at only 19%. Now, while these numbers are gradually shifting globally as the world finally wakes up to the need for sustainable development, large parts of the construction industry are still stubbornly clinging to the familiar, short-term speed of OPC.
And that brings us to Section 6, the final verdict, choosing the right tool. So, the crucial takeaway here isn't necessarily that one material is universally bad and the other is good. It's really about knowing exactly when to use which tool. If you're doing rapid, prefabricated construction where you need high early strength to turn over molds quickly, or if you're pouring concrete in freezing cold weather where you actually want that extra heat of hydration to keep the water from freezing, then OPC is your clear winner. But if you're building heavy-duty marine works, dams, sewers, or massive, thick concrete foundations where long-term impermeability and low heat are absolutely vital, PPC takes the crown easily. So, let's tally up the final scorecard. OPC wins on pure speed and early formwork stripping. It's the sprinter. But PPC wins on longevity, eco-friendliness, lower cost, and overall long-term durability. By utilizing industrial waste to create a denser, much more impermeable internal structure, PPC is hands down the engineered superior choice for a sustainable build meant to last a century. Which leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought. If PPC builds greener, cheaper, and fundamentally stronger over time, why are we still so addicted to the speed of OPC? Are we really sacrificing the 100-year lifespan and durability of our global infrastructure just to save a few days on a construction schedule? It's a fascinating challenge to ponder, and I really hope this explainer helps you rethink the foundation of the buildings we blindly rely on every single day. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.